we have discussed how to work single page applications, and we discuss about Angular, the function, the directives, right? We have discussed about Angular directives. And what is the last application we did? The processing expressions we have written within these curly brackets, right? We have done this example, right?
Right.
And then we came for these Angular controllers. Have we done the Angular controller? No, right?
No, sir, no.
Okay. Now, next we are going to discuss about, now we have discussed about several Angular applications, and we have done these type of examples to do some operations like multiplication of two quantities and updating those values. So all these things we have discussed last time. And we know that now the specialty, if I recap the things what we have done earlier, we have discussed about Angular representation as single page application, and we are embedding the operational or functional and operational attributes into the HTML content. That is what we do in normally in Angular. So when we embed these operational attributes into the Angular, so this so the presentation of the data can be done. Now, when we go further, sometimes you may think that this ng app is there, and we can use this, for example, ng init and ng model. So these type of things only we can use. So those are inbuilt Angular directives. Normally we call them as on Angular directives, and those are inbuilt Angular directives. Now, how can you define some kind of a new, not directive, directives we are going to discuss later, new functionality? How can we define new functionality within this type of Angular module? So that is what we are going to discuss next. For example, here we call that as Angular controller. We are calling the Angular function here, that Angular external library, and that is the first thing. And we are starting with Angular ng app, and we are defining ng controller, a new controller. Now this is a ng controller directive. In this ng controller directive, what we can see is that in ng controller directive, you can have a new controller. You can name a new controller. Once you give a new controller, that new controller is ineffective of this particular application. But you have to define what is the functionality of this new controller. Now let's see this example. I'll open this example one by one. Okay. Here, as we done earlier, we are having two input fields. Two input fields are there, text fields. Those are ng models, first name and last name. And finally, we are getting the full name. First name stays, last name will be displayed here, nothing else. Now let's see what is happening in this my controller. Now my controller gives some kind of a new name for this. The scope of the data will be changed. Here you can see a script. The variable app equals Angular module my app. This Angular module my app is available in this operation. Now this is a new app. Now here we are going to define new application module, right? New application module. In color, let me take that one as blue. This is a new module, Angular module. This new Angular module create a module called MyApp. So this ng app is going to be, this is the scope. Now MyApp is the scope. Now ng app equals MyApp. Normally earlier what we have done was actually we have given the blank for the ng app. Ng app is blank here. Here you can see that. Now we have given MyApp. The MyApp is defined in this one. MyApp is defined in this one. Ng app is MyApp. Okay. So MyApp has been created, and with this, this is the way we create a new module. We are creating a new module from this. Then the app, this is the app the controller, the my controller. We are giving a new controller name, my controller. Now what is this my controller going to do? My controller has a function, the scope variable is there, scope variable. The scope of this one, the scope of the first name, now this ng app will work from, my app is working operational within this particular area. Right, this area it is operation from here to here. The other thing is now when you look at it from this point of view, my controller having a separate function. That function is scope of this particular scope. If you have first name equals summer. If you have last name equals summer. Now that is the function we are getting here, right? So the app controller, my controller is given. Therefore, this operation is controlling this area. So that at the beginning, the first name is Saman, last name is Gamage. So Saman and Gamage will be available without any inputs or nothing. So that is what you have to understand. Without any operational thing, you get Saman Gamage here, right? That's what you have to understand. So Saman Gamage will be there without any other inputs. And that's what we are doing here by using this particular function. Okay, that is what we do from this particular function. Let me show you the output, right? Is that understood? Is that clear? Now this is a JavaScript, right? This is a JavaScript. From this JavaScript, we create a new app, variable app, that is Angular module. So the Angular supports to create this type of new module. Your module has a controller. The ng controller is operational for this first name and last name within the scope variable will be changed. That's what we are. Okay, that's what we do. Is that clear and understood? Yes or no? Is that clear?
So if we once launch the browser in this code, automatically display is that automatically display Saman and Gamage into
yeah, automatically that Saman and Gamage will be displayed. That is the thing we are getting here to understand how it happened, right?
Okay, sir.
So if you want to change, you can change it, no problem. That means when you, after launching it, if you want to change this Saman to Gamini, then it will happen as Gamini.
Okay.
Right? For that purpose, you have to change the text content here. When you change it again, that will be displaying here. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So here what we do is we are initializing the variables from this particular controller. Okay.
Yes,
Understood.
understood.
Okay, let's see how it works, right? Let's see how it works. Now you can see my full desktop, right? Okay. Now what I can do is here you can see the output is something like this. Automatically that output is coming here. And if I want to change, the changes are happening here. Here if I type summon, then summon the result is here. When you are typing it here, it will operate, right? Right? Okay.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So in
So
the code,
yes,
in the code, what's the meaning of that symbol in JavaScript code next to the my app is squad?
this is a module creation parameter. This is a kind of a, you are giving kind of a, the empty array. Okay. So
I
here
see.
you are. This is the Angular module creation function. This is a function already inbuilt function within the Angular JS. So this is the function we use to create any app, new app, right? New controller module. Okay.
Okay.
So this is this type of thing. Now here we can see I have given the my app. The same my app is available here. This app is now here. From my app only we are creating this one. So this all the things which are available here applicable for this scope, right? So this is the standard way of creating this function, and you can give some kind of array of data if you want to feed it to this particular application there. Right? Okay. Clear?
Okay.
Is that clear?
Is that brackets?
Square brackets.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Those are square brackets here.
Okay.
Those square brackets. Just do this example and see. All right. Okay. Understand how it works, right? Then you should be able to create a new controller. Are you all having machines, right, with you?
Also, I'm in my mobile.
So I advise you to use a machine computer where you can do the practicals and come back, right? Okay, let me see. Otherwise, it is not effective. How many of you are having machine with you? Please raise your hand. The people who are having machines with you, please raise your hand. Don't you know where the raising hand is available? Then my task is very easier because only few people are having machines. Okay, then I don't have to share and check it. Right, what you have to do is the people who are having machines, okay, raise down your hands. Okay, I have raised down everything, right? Okay, now what you have to do is you can try out this one. and I have some modifications, and let's see how to do modifications and improve this on top of this one, right? I'll give you some more examples on creating this time and do it, and I'll give you maybe 4 minutes, right? Within 4 minutes, do this thing. Okay, have you finished it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyone having problems? The people who have done it, if anyone having problems, please let me know. Have you got the output and is it working?
Yes, sir. Working.
Having problem means not a problem. Actually, the having problem means you are learning.
Full name है
Huh? Is there anyone who is having problem?
working. Okay, sir.
It's working, right?
Okay.
Everyone?
Yes.
So, everyone, it's working, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you are having any problem, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I'll go to the next thing. Don't hesitate. If you have any problem, just raise your hand. Then I can share your screen and get check it, right? Okay, let's move. So then I'm going to do a small modification here. For example, scope greet, welcome, and this message is there. The greet message is there. Now, this is a new thing. This is a new thing. Now let's see what is happening when you call on greet. Now greet variable is not available here. The greet variable is not available here. Now here we are having a new variable called greet. So what is this greet and how it work, right? So let's see what is happening when you put in this one with a new variable, maybe greet. Now that message is here. When you type something here, that won't affect for this one, yeah. Okay, did you see that? It affect that first one, but not the last one, because here the greet is already given some kind of a value from the beginning for the first name and last name, scope first name and last name. But that value won't be affect when you go here, because the greet is the one, it comes here and the greet will take some kind of a value, that value is going here. Dynamically it is not going to update it. The things what you are having in the controller, the controller values will not be updated, not binded. Those are not bind together like that. So that's what you have to understand. Okay, it is happening only once. It is happening only once. Okay, because the values which are binded, actually here and here it's binded, here and here it's binded, not anything else binded. Okay, so that's how you have to understand this mechanism. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Can you move browser to the right corner, sir? to C.
Also this one. Okay. Because that the original data will be statically available. Once you put it to the controller, that will be static data available here, and when it goes there, you are having the necessary display. Okay, right. So here we can move. Is it working? Hello.
Yes. Yes, sir. Okay.
Everyone?
Yes, sir, it's working.
Okay. We'll move to another example with the controller. This one. Have we done this one last time? No. Oh, yes.
No.
No, sir.
Here, this one is a kind of, not controller one. Here, there is nothing control, but color changing we have done, right? Okay, we'll do another example similar to this one. Okay. Here you have two things. Now, the first thing and the first name, last name, you are getting some kind of a value multiplied with another value. Here you can say scope first and last, and the value is that one. Now, in this application, it works like this. Full name Ramani Boteju, and this one is not a number. And when you give 6 and 7, then you are getting the result. Okay. When you put numbers, you are getting values. Not a number, but if you give a number, then you are getting results. So you can see that the controller can handle different things together. But if you give another scope for that, then you can do the calculations also like that. And you can define any calculation which you want. You can have a button to do the operations in the NG apps. Here you can see BPP app, and this is app normal app. So here the full name will be displayed, and the NG controller model, it will do the multiplication. It is coming from my app. My app has the same one, the Y app also there, right? This is my controller, this is Y controller. And see, now here it is not working this one. Here we are getting the multiplication directly. So if you change it to Y app, it will work in that manner. Now this is my controller. This I'll put it Y controller, and here I'll put the value, because the scope will be taken the first value only. Y controller, and that is BPP, Y app. This is going to be Y app. Now you can see the results, right? When you change the values, 8, 48. Now you are getting the values, right? 9. 50. So both results are updating. This val is updating because you are giving value from here to here, not from here. The val also updating from this one. If you remove this one, this won't work because only the beginning, the first value will be there. If you take this one as val 1, if you take this one as val 1, it won't work. First thing it's work. Now this is not updating. Why? Because the calculation has already been done. This one is updating, no problem, because we are doing the calculation. Therefore, we can see that val is passing the value. Okay. The same application you can copy and do the modification accordingly. Now numerical calculations also can be done. Have you completed it? Yes or no?
Complete, sir.
Completed.
What about the others?
Complete, sir.
Finished.
Anyone who is having problem? Anyone raise your hand if you have any problem? Anyone who has not completed or having problem? Raise your hand. No one is raising their hand, therefore I have to assume that everything fine and going well. Okay. So let's move to another example. I will show you that example. That is also control example. That is going to be the last control example I'm going to do. This one, controller maths. Here you can see add and mul both are there, right? So you can see when I'm changing, addition and multiplications are when I put the results, adding and multiplication, you can see result. Here I have put one option button, right? Option button is there. Let's see how it works. Let's see how it works. Okay, I'll shift that one to right hand side. So math controller. Okay. Now here you can see. Here you can see. I'm taking the my app and my controller. So my controller is the module, right? So here I have app controller The app is my app, and app controller my controller function. The scope of first number is 5. Second number is 6. Scope add is a function now. Add is a function. Add function, they return the passing from the value and passing from the second value and return that value. This is a function. Now that's how it works. Now, even though you have given this function, it works as a function. When you click on it, that function will be operating. Now the controller will active. The controller will active. And here also the multiplication function. Here you have that mul function. Scope mul equals this first number and second number will be multiplied together and return that value. Return that value as mul. Now you have two functions called add and mul. We put that value as not normal manner, add function, mul function. Now when you put that one as add function, mul function, here you don't have any add function, mul function, but it is assigned, this add is assigned with a function. Mul is assigned with a function, and finally you are putting those values. Then when you put the radio button, this one, when you select it, the value, the ng model value is there, that model is value. And finally, you are getting the add and mul results here. The value is going to be this add and mul, and that value will pass here. Because this will operate when you select this function, activate, and run that add function when you select it. When you call this one, then these values are coming there. Okay? Now you have already seen how it works, right? Now you remember how to write a function. Function you have to write and put the semicolon here. This is inside this controller. That's why we are closing here. Okay. So you want to see it again? Here you can see how it works. So value is, the radio button value is add and mul, and this add and mul results will be displayed here in this particular place. So ng model val will take the value what we are having here. ng model val will take that value what we are having here, and that will be passed to this one. That's how it is happening. So you have to understand the value will be passed from this calculation to here and this one to here. That's how it passes. This add multiplication is happening here when you call it. Is that clear? Understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do it and see it. Do it and see it. Check how it works. So let me see again, how many of you are using machines? Raise your hands. Computer, laptop or something? Just raise your hand and do the work. If you are using a machine, just raise your hand and then continue your work. I just want to get a count. Only 4 people have. Okay, now 5, 6. Only 6. So all the others are using mobile phone. Huh? So the thing is, you have to bring the mobile phone and do the thing in the practical sessions what we are getting in examination notes. So Ahmad, you have mobile, what do you call, machine with you?
No, sir, in
Not,
laptop.
are you doing the practical or not? That's what I want to address. If however you are doing it, I don't mind how you are doing it. If you are doing or not, that's what I want to count.
I'm doing, sir.
Okay, then raise your hand. However, if you are doing it, just raise your hand. How many of you are doing it? That's what I want to count. I mean, here in mobile phone, that's okay. But if you are doing it, just raise your hand. However. So the many people are just weavers. Yes, there's a chat. Ahmad, that is not the place to put the raise your hand. There's a raise hand option is available. So Achini Apeksha, don't you have a machine there? Achini. Where is she? She went somewhere. Yeah, Achini Apeksha. Don't you have mobile machine? AWM Muhammad,
Yes, sir.
do you have a machine?
Yeah, I have a machine. I'm a separate machine, sir.
So you don't, are you doing it now?
Yeah, yes, sir. I have
Then
separate
raise your
machine
hand,
without
raise your hand.
internet connection. Without internet connection, I'm
Yeah,
coming
that's
Zoom.
okay. However, you are doing it now, raise your hand. Achini, what's the problem? Ahmad, raise your hand, right? Achini, I think she is not there. No, nothing. Chamat, Chamat Nirmal. Dilshan. Where are these people? Achini, Chamat, Dilshan.
Just now I found the option, sir.
Okay, okay. This Dilshan, Chamat, Achini. Those people are not there. Tejana. Tejana. Yes, just tell me what's the problem. Hello, Tejana. Can you speak?
Hello, sir.
Tejana. Okay. Tejana. What's the problem? Do you have a machine or not?
Yes, sir, I have a machine.
Are you doing the practical or not? Then raise your hand. Tejana, raise your hand. Not that hand. There is another hand like this. No, there is a hand, blue color one on the chat. Okay, Chini, I don't know where they are. Chamat Nirmal, Dilshan. 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 Harsha. Harsha. Harsha Madhushani. Yes. Harsha Madhushani. Jayani. Rishan. Lakshani. Radisha. Fatima. Kalani Malsha. Dehan Fernando. Tarmi. Vidurang. Yasant. Luan.
Sir,
Yes, Yasant.
today I can't do the practical, sir, because I have a
Just
machine.
get the recording
next-
and do it, right? Get the recording because I will put the
Okay,
recording
sir.
onto your Moodle after uploading it to the YouTube. I will put it to the Moodle, but not today. Maybe tomorrow I'll put it, right? Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
From your
Okay, sir.
LMS, you can access the video.
Okay, sir.
So what about the others? Achini Apeksha, there is no response, even chat. Use the chat. Apeksha. Jayani, I don't have machine in this time because I'm her. Okay, you have to do it, right? That's what I want to ask you to do. So I don't. Others don't have machines, right? Okay, next time try to come with a machine, not internet connected, but you can use your mobile phone to see the things, but do the practicals by using it. But if you have a machine with you, internet connected one, if you have any problem, I can assist you as well by sharing your screen. Okay, I'll clear you all. Right. Okay, have you done it? Yes or no? The people who have done it.
No.
Yes, Nirojini, any problem?
No, sir.
Is it working?
I done it. Yes, sir.
Good, very good.
Control.
Still anyone doing it? Is there anyone who is doing yet? Is there anyone who is doing until up to now? Please raise your hand if you are currently doing it. Have you got the results properly? Is it working?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, Fatima. What's the problem? Yes, Fatima. Are you doing it or are you having problem?
Typing, sir.
You are doing it. Okay, just do it. Kamidu? Yes. Kamidu? Kamidu, are you still doing it or are you having problem?
Okay, sir. I done.
You have done it. Okay, then
Okay.
raise down your hand. Anyone else still doing it? Anyone else? Okay, finish it. Finish it. If you have any problem or some kind of error, just notify me. Somebody, are you still doing it?
No, sir, I am done.
Okay, then raise down your hand. So no one is doing it, right? Is there anyone doing it now? Raise down your hand. Is there anyone who is doing it? Okay, everyone done, right? Okay, let's go. Now here you have seen how it works with some kind of function, and you can write any type of function here and you can call it there and it will work, right? That's what you have to understand. And dynamically these type of operations can be done with the functions. And we have done, for example, the regular expressions we have written by using this JavaScript function. So the regular expressions are also there. Then regular expressions can be checked and compared with any operation. So these type of operations are possible within this scope of this JavaScript applications. That's what you have to understand. So that's how we can proceed, and let's move to the next one. Okay, here we have done a very simple example, how to change the color, right? How to change the color. For example, when you are typing any color in this input box. So at the beginning, it's my color, that my color function, that the variable is given with light blue. So then the light blue comes as a background color here. This is a kind of a style sheet, right? So the background color is light blue, and ng model my color will be taken here and pass that value here. And then finally, the value is displayed as my color, whatever the value you have. When you are changing it, the background color is dynamically changing. And this is from W3 School's examples. And I'll show you that example. I think last time we have done it, right? Yes or no? No?
No, sir.
No, okay. Let me show you how it works. Yeah, this one. Now you can see the output of that example, right? This color example, light blue is there. The background is light blue. Okay, then I put maybe yellow. It will become yellow. I'll put pearl. Maybe some kind of a violet. Maybe it's violet is there. And maybe blue, red, green. So whatever the color you type, if it is a kind of a clear cut color, it will be there. Black also there. No one can see. And what else? Light green. Light green. Light green. Light yellow. There is no such color, right? Light yellow. Yes, there. Light yellow. Light violet. Oh, that is not there. Light green, light green, light yellow, light blue, light red. iterate this one there. So whatever the color you have, you can put type here, and then you can get that color, the defined colors. Right. So that's how it works. It's at the beginning, it's a light blue. Here you have the code and try it out. Here you can see at the beginning we are initializing this my color as light blue, equal light blue. And that color will pass to this one, the controller. Background color is light blue. NG model, light blue will display on this one because this is the binding, what you are getting, the model. Binding, and that value will pass to the value of this particular input box as well. Then that will be displayed. Yeah. That's how it's going to work. Just check it. Anyone who is doing still? Anyone still doing it? Okay, everyone done. Good. Let's move to another area within the Angular. That area we called as, now we have learned how these directives are working, right? Now we also want to create our new directives sometimes, right? New directives are to be created. Our own directives, right? Like ng init, some kind of a directive we want to create. So normally the directives are embedded within the attributes as attributes within the tags or the elements. And so we should be able to give a new name of attribute or directive to any tag, and we should be able to input the name. So some regular directives, for example, ng app, ng controller, ng bind, those type of directives are there. Their own functionalities are also available. Now what we are going to do is we are going to create our own directives, and we are going to define what they can do. So ng repeats normally allows to repeatedly put some kind of looping type of operations, and we have that example also. Let's see the directive example. Here we have not the directive example. First, we'll go to the directive example. Now here the directive example is available. One example. Now here we are going to give a new directive, w3-test directive. We are going to test this particular directive. Now in this one, in the div tag, we are having ng app, my app. This is the directive, the new directive. W3-test directive. Now, where have we defined that directive? Okay, the directive definition is available within a script here, inside a script. This is operative inside this one only, the do tag. Okay. Now, according to this example, that is the way it is. We are creating an app, new app. This app is any name, right? You can put any name, but variable. Angular module, my app, and spag. So this is familiar to you. This is familiar to you. And this one, this app will be taken and directive. App earlier we have given as controller. Now we are going to give a directive. Now this one come as a kind of a directive. Now this directive is given a name. The directive name is W3-test directive. Now here you have to understand there are some things which we go from capital to simple or simple to capital. So when we go from simple to capital, here, these positions we can put hyphen. Here you can see those positions are taken hyphen. But the wording that you have to give here is to be continuously. If you want to put the hyphen somewhere, then those points you have to give from simple to capital. Simple to capital changes will take simple letter. Hyphen simple letter demarc. W3 test directive will come in that manner, and the function will be represented here. The function, it will return a template. So here it says I was made in a directive constructor. I was made in a directive constructor, and that is how you are getting it. And this is the directive you are closing here, and you are calling finishing this function. Yeah, directive function, or the method will be finished here. That's how you are writing. And the most important thing what you have to understand is this part. You have to write that simple, capital to simple denotes this hyphen simple letter, and you can call it. Now here it will gives you a template here. I'll show you some examples from that one. I'll show you some examples. So template, restrict, E and M. Now these are some of the very important factors to be understood here when you are working with directives, right? When you are creating new directive. Now E stands for elements, A stands for attribute, C stands for class, C again stands for comment that for you can add it to comments as well. So element, attribute, class, or comment, you can put these things. So the directives can be embedded within an element, a class, or comment. So that's what we say here. In this one, actually, it's a test directive. You can see that test directive, this is one example template made by a directive. You can see as output. So here this one. So this one also works in the same manner. And here we have another example. Create new directory example. The template will become like this, and it is working with an element. It is working with an element. And for element we put A, attribute A, E and A, and C for the class, M for comments. Right. If you put no, but default one is EA. It will work for attribute and element. Attribute and element, it will work. It can be put as an element name or attribute within an element. Both it will work. Here you can see restrict M, that is only for comments, this will work. Right? Only for comments it's work. Let's see that example here. This will work element and comment. Now you can see I have given it in the element. This is element name. It work here. It will display here, made by directive, and that will available in the comment as well. It work for the comment also. Restrict element and comment sort. Here it won't work for attribute. It will replace the content what you are having and replace the content what you are getting here. Here element attribute. Okay, let's see how it works in this example. So element is there. Made by directive is available as heading. Attribute, it won't work. Comment is there. For the comment, it works. Made by directive. If you put this one as E and A, element and attribute, that is the default one. Attribute it work, not for the commit. Okay, you have to understand that. Okay, I'll give that for the commit. Okay, do this thing and see how it works. I'll show you the output also and keep it on the screen. Still doing it? Please raise your hand. Okay, that's done, right? Okay. Now you can see that when you put the restriction, if you change the restriction to EA, that means only for the attribute it works. And if you remove the E, only M, then it will work only for comment. Then it will work only for the comment. Only for the comment. So that's how it works. Right now you know how to create a new directive. You know what is the function. The same way you can define a function for the directive. Now you can define a function for the directive and you can return some kind of operation, do some kind of operation and return a value. Right? You can do some kind of operation and return a value based on the directive what you are having. Here the template it will display, or some kind you want to do some kind of a processing. That also can be done inside this one and return the value. So that's what you have to understand. You can define your own directive and put those directives inside to an element. Okay. Now those are similar to the directives what you had as ng init, ng something like that, right? So those are like your directives now, right? So you are able to develop write your own directives to do some operations. Now, why we need it? Because once you develop some kind of a new directive by using some kind of a script, you can call that script here. You can call that script here, and those directives are then available for these elements. Then you can develop your own functionalities for the HTML elements and the HTML tags. So then that library is for your library. And once you do it, you can reuse it for many, many different applications without writing it again. That is the beauty of these type of things. Okay, understood? Right. Let's move to another one more thing. So we have done object example. You can do it at home. You got this handout, right? This full handout, have you got it?
No, sir. No, no, no.
No?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll put it onto the Moodle. Right, today I'll put it onto the Moodle, then you can get it. From your LMS, you can download it, okay? Right?
Okay, thank you, sir.
I'll put it onto your LMS account. And here, you can see that we are having some kind of array of values, points, 1, 15, 19, 2, 40. So the third value, the point 2, will be displayed as 19. The 19 will be displayed here. And the other one is ng init, the person, name Saman, last name Mark. So the person dot last name is coming as Mehta. right? Coming as method. If you put person dot first name, the summer. So that way you can, the variable, or you can define some kind of a class or some kind of a object, and object properties can be given inside this one and display. So I'm not going to do that. You can try it out at your home by taking this one. So we have done the directives. We did one directive example. Here you can check this one also. This is a separate application where you write this control function as external JavaScript. You are writing this one as external JavaScript. And then what you can do is you can call this external JavaScript and work on here. The same thing. Earlier you have written this app controllers, right? Earlier you have written these app controllers internally. Now you can write that script externally. That is the only difference, right? So this one is a separate script, and you are calling these two scripts. Those are JScript, the external JavaScripts. Those are external JavaScripts. In the external JavaScript, you don't have to write this bulletin part, right? This one you don't have to write. This one also you don't have to write. Use this one also, but these things you have to write, and these are the names of how you have saved. Now this will come. This particular external JavaScript is coming here, and this one is coming here. Now those are operating. This is like you internally writing script, and then this will work according to that one. So my controller will be able to work here. My controller will be able to work here. Then that way you can write a JavaScript. You are creating app and then writing that this app control. So the same thing we have done internally. So here how you can do externally. You can try it out at home, right? Before next attempt. Okay, let's come to the repeat example. Now we are having an array of values, objects. Array of objects are available. ng app and ng init names, name Johnny, country Norway. Name H, country Sweden. Name Kai, country Denmark. So you have a bunch of objects available here. Name, country, name, country, name, country. This names is the full object, and these are attributes. These are attributes. This is the main one. So what we do is we take a loop-in object, list item, unordered list items are there, ng repeat. We are calling ng repeat. Ng repeat, x in names. X in names means the x stands for any object here. X stands for any object here. In x in names, x name, comma, x country will be displayed here. X name, comma, country will be displayed here. Right? X name, comma, x country will be displayed here. And this x name and country will repeatedly available. For example, Johnny, Norway, H, Sweden, Kai, Denmark. So one by one it will display by calling this object. X stands for names. X stands for names, and this will go x dot name, x dot country. X replaced by names, and earlier you can remember Here we have used one example, object example. First name Saman, last name Mehta. Person dot last name represent Mehta. So like that same thing, we are repeating with that object all the elements we are going through. All the elements we are going through now. So that's how it works. So do you want to see it or can you manage it? Do you want to do it or can you manage it? I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question. Can you manage it or do you want to do it here now? Let's do it, okay. Let's do it. So in a list items, you are getting this all the names. Johnny, Norway. Johnny, Norway. H, Sweden, like that. Very quickly do it.
Okay, sir. Done.
Done?
Yes, sir.
Everyone? Finish?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir, I have done.
Okay, now you can see that how it repeats works and how you can get these results. For example, this is ng repeat is the directive and x will be taken as the full object and the attributes will be then iterate one by one. Okay, now we have done the ng repeat and ng model. We have already done those ng models normally works only for these type of elements in HTML. Input boxes, we have seen it, select and text area. So selecting again, it's going to be the drop-down box, right? Drop-down box also it's work. And so you can provide a validation of any application data like, you know, number, email, or required fields can be checked with this one. And whether someone has done changes for that particular data, those things also can be checked here in. So let's see how we can do the NG validation. Now, if you use this particular example, here what we do is we are taking ng app and my form application, input email, name my address, name is my address, that will be the variable name we are giving. The type is email, we have to give the type as email, and ng model text. Now here in the span we are writing span ng show my form is here, dot my address, this is my address, dot error email. If any error available within the email, when you are taking out the cursor, you will get an error message. So the font color will be red color, not valid email address, and red color you will get this one. Otherwise you are not getting. There's a controller. The controller is inside this one. The controller is inside this one when you are giving an error. If and only if you are giving an error for this one, then only you will get this message. Otherwise not. Otherwise not. If you type email address. So inside this function of ng model, this ng show my form dot my address $error email. Error email, the error within the email will be validated, and you get this message. Very easily you can check whether that error, anything erroneously entered in the email address or not. So I'll show you this validation example. I think it's better to just show it. Validate. Yeah. Email address validation. Same example. Here you have the email address validation. If I type maybe not a valid email, when you are typing at gmail.com, .com. All right, now it's okay. Now it's okay. Now it's okay. The dot should be there. Otherwise, you are getting error message. If at sign is not there, you are getting error message. So that's how it works. Okay, you can try it out at your home, right? You can try it at your home. And there's another validation here. Validity and dirty and touch. If you do some kind of a change to this content, then now you are getting different messages here. The different messages are there. And we have done the new directive example. We did it. And the restrictions also we have done with examples. And next day we can do the filtering example because we want to discuss about filter. And next day we are going to finish the Angular and we are going to start. We have not started the Ajax, right? We didn't do the Ajax. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Brush up your knowledge about JavaScript and come. We'll do some more few examples of Angular and then we are jumping into Ajax, right? So, so for time being, I will stop here now. And if you have any question, you can ask it. And otherwise, we can wind up the lecture and we can move to, I will show you I'll put the notes onto the LMS and you can download it. And I will put this video also into the Moodle, not today, tomorrow, right? Tomorrow I'll put it onto your LMS, you can repeat it. And okay, any questions? Any questions? There are 43 or 4 people attended, now only 41 people available. Any question? Please raise your hand. I will let you ask your question. Anyone? Today I'll put the note and tomorrow I'll put the video. Okay, then let's stop here. And we'll meet you again next week, right? I will put the links everything onto the Moodle next time, right?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.